Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're heading straight into the mountain villages of Shinshu, Japan, to explore something that really kind of defies our normal, everyday understanding of time. We're looking at the centuries-old, incredibly profound relationship between human history and ancient trees. So, get comfortable, let's jump right in and discover the sacred giants of Shinshu. Imagine you're walking through a quiet mountain village, and you suddenly come face to face with a living entity that is infinitely older than anyone alive today. When you stand right in front of a tree that has blossomed in the spring and survived absolutely brutal winters hundreds upon hundreds of times, you really can't help but ask, what exactly have these trees seen? What ancient festivals, what lost generations of people has it just silently observed from that exact spot?
Well, to answer that, we first need to look at how a tree becomes something much more than just wood in Section 1, from giant tree to sacred tree.
In Japan, there's actually a really vital distinction between two core concepts. A simply massive, biologically old tree is known as a kyoju. But when that tree becomes intertwined with the ancient belief of finding the divine within nature, it transforms. It becomes a shinboku, a truly sacred tree. And this reflects a profound cultural faith known as Shinko. So while a kyoju is essentially just a giant biological specimen, a shinboku, which is often marked with a sacred rope, is revered as a deity itself. And that leads us right into Section 2, the intersection of myth and nature.
Our exploration takes us first to the serene mountains of Togakushi, which is this incredible place where geology and mythology just seamlessly meet. Standing quietly at the shrine there are the Sanbansugi. These are 3 massive cedars, estimated to be around 800 years old. But they aren't just old, They stand in a landscape intimately tied to the Japanese myth of Amaterasu, the sun goddess, and the heavenly cave. Their massive physical presence really blurs that boundary between ancient legend and physical reality.
Now, moving north to Sugakawa Shrine, we find a truly staggering record of survival. When a massive cedar in this specific region was felled and they actually counted its rings, they found 980 of them, literally nearly 1,000 years. This means the majestic cedars that are still standing at that shrine today have likely been alive since Japan's Heian period. Long before the era of the samurai even started, these trees were already there, just weathering the snow and the wind.
It's a beautiful duality, and you can see it perfectly over in Hakuba Village. Here, the ancient cedar at Hosono Suwa Shrine basically frames the snow-capped Northern Alps. It completely bridges 2 unfathomable scales of time. You have mountain time, right? Millions of years of slow geological shifts. And then human time, which is centuries of building shrines, holding festivals, and protecting this sacred space. And the tree just stands right there in the middle, anchoring humanity to the ancient earth.
But it's not all grand scales. These trees are deeply personal too. Let's look at Section 3, People's Prayers and Legends. Beyond the grand, sweeping myths, these giants are vessels for very personal local legends. In Ueda, the 800-year-old Dairoku Kayaki tree's sprawling branches have served as a literal physical gathering place tied to the local deity Dairoku-ten. And over in Toyooka, local legend claims that an 800-year-old giant Katsura tree grew directly out of a walking stick planted by the holy monk Shinran. Now, whether that's biologically true or not doesn't even matter, because the tree becomes the living, breathing memory of that community's history.
Down in Oshika Village, there's a tree that's cherished not for its towering size, but for its incredibly deep connection to a very desperate human prayer. It's known as the Yonaki-matsu, or the night-crying pine. Legend actually says a mother who was just totally exhausted by her child's relentless nighttime crying prayed to the deity Kanen. Her prayer was answered, the crying stopped, and this pine tree became the ultimate symbol of that miracle. It's such a beautiful reminder that everyday human love and anxiety actively shape a tree's history in the eyes of the people.
And honestly, across the entirety of Shinshu, there are countless lesser-known giants. We're talking from Matsukawa's 1,000-year cedar to the towering Kiyaki in Minoa, right over to the awe-inspiring twin cedars of Aida. These trees absolutely haven't survived by accident. They've endured lightning strikes and centuries of just drastic societal change solely because generations of local people actively made the choice to protect them. The preservation of these trees is literally a physical record of human devotion.
And in some traditions, that devotion goes even further. Section 4, Trees Becoming Gods.
In some profoundly moving traditions, trees aren't just protected out in the forest. They are brought directly into the absolute heart of human society. During the truly awe-inspiring Suwa Onbashira festival, massive fir trees are meticulously chosen. Then, And just this incredible, raw display of community strength, they are physically carried and slid down the mountain by the people. Finally, they are raised around the shrine as sacred pillars, known as umbashira. It's a complete transformation of raw wood into a powerful, unifying symbol of faith.
Which naturally brings us to a really profound question in Section 5. What do trees remember?
We really are left to ponder what exactly these silent giants remember inside those massive trunks. As it turns out, a tree actually holds two types of records. On one hand, you have the natural records. Their rings physically document centuries of growth speeds, droughts, harsh winters, and scars from lightning strikes. But simultaneously, they absorb the completely intangible human memories of the communities living right beneath them. Every personal prayer, every village festival, and centuries of human protection are literally woven directly into the legacy of that single tree.
When we visit a giant like the 1,000-year-old Great Cedar of Tsukise, we stand at its base, crane our necks up, and marvel at it. We tend to think we are the ones observing the tree, but in reality, the dynamic is completely reversed. The tree has been silently watching us. It has watched the people of the Heian period, the villagers of the Edo period, all the way down to you and me today. To the tree, our entire human lives are just this incredibly brief passing moment in its long, quiet watch.
So the very next time you happen to walk past a giant tree in your town, or maybe during a hike, I really want you to just take a moment to stop. Consider the unseen, 1,000-year narrative it holds. Think about the countless nameless people who have stood exactly where you are standing right now, bringing all their hopes, their myths, and their protection to that single tree of stories.
Because these sacred giants are the ultimate bridges. They connect the wild mountains to human villages, the deep past to our vivid present, and the natural world directly to our faith. And they do all of this in absolute silence. Trees say nothing, but even though they say nothing, they remember everything. So, when your time has passed, what stories will the trees in your town remember about you?